Hey, welcome back to The Average Kitchen. Super pumped. Yesterday I smoked this monster 23-pound brisket on my brand new Traeger Ironwood 650, and today we're gonna cook with it. I'm gonna start it with doing an amazing brisket chili. So let's cut this open. It's been resting all night. It was a 12-hour smoke yesterday, so that's a bit of a marathon. Lots of rest time. We're definitely gonna have a little bit of residual fat here. All right, we're free. We're free of our butcher paper. So I'm gonna get this out of the way. Back. Okay, 23-pound brisket. So I'm gonna cut a generous amount of the point off because I wanna do some burnt ends later. So it's not all juicy and stuff like you see sometimes because we let it rest for about 12 or 15 hours. So you can see how monstrous this is. So I'm gonna basically just start slicing it up, and then we're gonna build an amazing chili with some of this beautiful brisket. Generous thick slices here in The Average Kitchen. So you'll see here, you can see in the camera there, that darker ring that runs all the way around the brisket, that's your smoke ring. So you achieve that by giving it a generous amount of smoke time. Now that new Traeger that I bought, which replaced my old one, actually has a super smoke setting, which is pretty neat. So I took advantage of that yesterday as well. That's a lot of brisket. So let me get this pushed aside and we'll start building an amazing brisket chili. All right, so I did a bunch of prep work in advance, so I wasn't gonna bore you showing you me cutting stuff up. So you'll see here I've got a bunch of green pepper, red pepper, celery. So we're gonna throw that in. It's quite a bit there. About a pepper and a half of each red and green and 4 stalks of celery. I also went ahead and caramelized 2 large sweet yellow onions, which I really think should help give a really deep flavor in our chili. So we're gonna add that as well. Make sure we get it all in my new Mickey Mouse Pyrex. Pretty excited about that. So make sure we get all our peppers. Then we got a can of corn and a can of chickpeas. I'm gonna throw those in. Then I got a can of black beans that I rinsed, which is very, very important and crucial. Put that in there as well. Now I've got here, you'll see some smoked sausage that I previously smoked. I'm actually gonna throw it on the stove here and caramelize this sausage. I think it's really gonna give it a nice kick to our chili. So let me throw that on the stove. Now we have, yesterday when I smoked this brisket, I smoked 4 whole jalapenos. Now I've never done that before for chili, but I figured, you know what, I'll give it a try. So I'm gonna cut that open. I'm probably just gonna try this just to see the level of heat. Wow. That is hot. I'm gonna be very cautious with these jalapenos. I just need some water. I'll be back. Like, is my tongue bleeding? That's hot. It's the hottest pepper I've ever had in my life. Maybe the hottest, yeah, it's the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life. I'm not even joking, like that is the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life. I'm scared to touch it. All right, we're back. All right, sometimes things happen in The Average Kitchen, and I don't know, it's been probably 10 minutes since I tried that piece of jalapeno. My mouth is still on fire. I have a very high heat tolerance. It is by far the hottest thing I've ever eaten in my life, and I can tell you it's not going in the chili. Like, I'm even having a hard time talking. My tongue is like so messed up. So you'll see here, did up that sausage like I said I was going to. Get that in here. Now we'll add our crushed tomato, and we have diced tomato, and then we have a can of tomato paste. So I should mention that I have the my Traeger on right now. It's already preheated. It's set to, I think I set it for 225 on super smoke. All right, that's well mixed. So we're probably gonna do these in bite-sized chunks. Now, rest assured, this brisket will be fall apart once it starts warming up because it's been sitting, well, it sat on my counter for probably 4 hours last night, and then it went into the fridge. So it's still a little bit on the firm side, but that's okay. Lots of brisket. I'm gonna get this mixed up, and then we're gonna start throwing in some seasoning, not smoked jalapenos. I'm gonna throw in some oregano, basil, salt, pepper, and some Cajun blend that I have. And let me give this a mix, and let me go into the old trusty spice cupboard here and grab some spices, and we'll get that mixed up as well. So a bit of a fun fact here for you. Some people, a lot of people, buy spices in those spice racks with all the little glass jars, and then they sit on their counter for 5 or 10 years. They say, when I say they, the internet says that spices are usually good for 2 to 4 months, roughly, at the most. So where I live, and a lot of places in Canada, I'm sure a lot of places all over North America, have a place called Bulk Barn where they sell bulk spices. So that's how I buy mine. This is oregano. A bag like this here where I live would be like 75 cents. So I use oregano quite a bit, but if it's been sitting around for a bit, I just toss it and I get some new stuff. So I'm gonna throw in a tablespoon here. Let's call it 2 tablespoons. Still dying from that pepper. Could you imagine if I tried to be like a hero and like try to eat the whole thing? I'd be like in the ER. All right, so this is that Cajun blend that I really, really like. So we'll say 3 tablespoons of that. Now I should add as well that if you don't have a smoker, this can go on a stovetop. It can bake in the oven. It could even go in a slow cooker. Anything like that is fine. You don't need to have a smoker. I'm gonna grab some salt and pepper. I'm gonna go very light on the salt to start and a pretty generous amount of pepper. So obviously you can see that this is quite thick, but everything is not warmed up yet, so it will loosen up. And like anything that you cook in your own kitchen at home, you're gonna want to taste and season as you go. There's no perfect amount to say that, oh, okay, this size of pot, you need a tablespoon of pepper. Maybe you need 3 tablespoons of pepper, but what I always say is you can easily add more, you can never take it away. So if you go a little too crazy in the beginning, adding like a lot of salt, you could ruin your dish. So add a bit, taste, add a bit more to your desired liking. Let's head outside into the cold Canadian winter and get that on the smoker. Welcome to the brand new Ironwood. It's got 1 cook on it so far, which was yesterday's brisket. All right, so grill's not really that hot because we're only at 225, but let's give that a little scrape. Let's get that on there and hear that starting to fire up. Do a quick pellet check. Good. And we'll let that sit for a couple hours. All right, just took the chili off the smoker. It was on there for about 4 hours. And let's give it a try. So when I say just take it off, I took it off about 10 minutes ago, so it wouldn't be ripping hot on me. Grab a little bit of brisket here, and a little bit of everything. Well, you can really taste the smoke. That brisket's like melting in your mouth. Amazing. Such a fun way to use leftover brisket. I hope you try this. If you do, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you on our next video. Dude, that is so hot. Like inferno hot. And I wasn't just playing that up.